You ever notice how some conversations never actually happen in real life, but they won't stop happening in your mind? Maybe it's the argument you should have had, the confession you're too afraid to make, the perfect comeback that only shows up 3 hours too late. You replay it, rewrite it, rehearse every line. And part of you wonders, why am I doing this? What's wrong with me? Let's get something out of the way immediately. There is nothing strange about rehearsing conversations in your head. But there is a deeper psychology behind it, and understanding that psychology explains more about you than the conversation ever could. Most people think rehearsing conversations is about preparing what to say. It's not. It's about preparing how to feel. When you replay a conversation, what you're actually trying to control is the outcome, the reaction, the rejection you're afraid might happen, the embarrassment you want to avoid, and the version of yourself you wish you could be in real time. This isn't about dialogue, it's about emotional safety. Your brain treats social interaction like a threat, so it runs simulations, not to perfect the words, but to protect you from pain. If you rehearse conversations often, it usually means one thing. You don't trust the moment. You don't trust that you'll stay calm. You don't trust that you'll be understood. You don't trust that you won't freeze, overthink, or say something wrong. So your mind tries to fix the future before it arrives. You're not rehearsing a conversation. You're rehearsing control. Because deep down, you believe the real you, the unfiltered you, might not be enough in the moment. And here's the uncomfortable truth most people never realize. The version of you rehearsing the conversation is not the same version of you who will actually have it. The rehearsed you is calm, brilliant, confident, unbothered. The real you is emotional, reactive, human. So your mind builds this ideal script and then punishes you when real life doesn't match it. That's why you walk away from conversations thinking, I should have said this. Why didn't I think of that? I sounded stupid. I should have been stronger. You're comparing reality to a simulation, and reality will always lose. Most people do this occasionally, but if you do it constantly, it usually reflects deeper patterns. Fear of conflict, fear of rejection, social anxiety, high emotional intelligence, or a habit of chronic self-editing. You're not rehearsing to communicate. You're rehearsing to survive. This habit isn't random. It's a map that points directly to what you're afraid to feel. And here's what almost nobody realizes. Rehearsed conversations are your brain's way of grieving the moments where you weren't able to show up as yourself. It's your mind saying, I wish I could have been braver. I wish I could have protected myself. I wish I could have said what I needed. The rehearsal is an attempt to rewrite the past and pre-correct the future. It's not dysfunction, it's longing. Sometimes you rehearse conversations not because you'll ever have them, but because you want to feel understood, even if it's only by an imaginary version of someone. You build a space where you can finally say the thing that feels too heavy, too messy, too vulnerable to say in real life. That imaginary conversation feels safer than the real one. Not because you're weak, but because your honesty has rarely been handled gently. If you rehearse conversations in your head, it means this. You care more than you let on. You feel more deeply than you show. You want connection, but you fear the cost of it. You want to be understood, but you're tired of being misread. You're careful with your words because you're tired of being hurt by them. Rehearsing conversations isn't a flaw. It's a protective instinct built by someone who learned to rely on themselves in moments where other people should have shown up. And what breaks the cycle isn't scripting better conversations. It's building more trust in yourself as you are. Because once you stop fearing your real reaction, your real voice, and your real presence, you don't need rehearsals anymore. You become the version of you you've been practicing to be. Leave a comment below. What's the conversation you've replayed in your head the most? If this video made you think or made you say, this is literally me, hit subscribe. We'll continue exploring the hidden psychology behind everyday habits and behaviors you didn't even realize had meaning.